with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore, because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Twisted Tuesday has begun, and it's a pretty active Tuesday by Twisted Tuesday standards this evening, considering we've got a bowl game going on right now. Get your bowling shoes out. We're going to the lanes as Bowl Mania has officially begun. We had a couple of bowl games on Saturday, but now it's sort of for real. There's no turning back, just one game tonight, but we got 2 games tomorrow, and moving forward, Bowl Mania and hell, the college football playoffs are set to begin in a couple of days. We'll be on live for the Indiana and the Notre Dame game at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Friday night, a special edition of In-Game Live College Football Playoff Edition. We're looking forward to it. We're also going to be with you New Year's Eve live. There's a college football playoff game, the Fiesta Bowl, and there's a lot of other stuff going on New Year's Eve. USA and Canada playing in the World Junior Hockey Championships in Ottawa, the Canadian capital, on New Year's Eve. That game is going to be lit. All right. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and we got a lot of stuff to break down tonight. Let's get after it. As I stated, a lot of stuff going on. We got the NBA Cup. Let's start off in the National Basketball Association. And it's kind of alarming to see that the NBA has basically become AEW wrestling, in which they need to tell the arena operators, turn off the freaking lights so we can't see the stands, so we don't see all the empty seats, as there are more empty seats than people in the arena. They've gone dark. like they should call this like NBA After Dark, like, because it's dark. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's like girls in Las Vegas that have like gone all out and thinking, man, I'm going to be sitting courtside at an NBA game. Everybody's going to see me on TV. All the players are going to want me. No, they can't see you, girl. They can't see you. Like, anyone who's watching the NBA Cup, if you notice, that arena is not usually like that. All right? Like when the UNLV Running Rebels play, they don't like darken the arena. Yeah, they don't even sell out. But the NBA is like, no, we can't show the NBA Cup and a ton of empty seats. Like, you can get in tonight. See Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks in Vegas, right? You think people from Milwaukee are going to Vegas for this game? No. You think people in Oklahoma City are going? No. And you think people would have won if it was the Lakers? Yes. You think it would be full right now if it was the Knicks? Yes. Do you think it would be full if it was the Golden State Warriors? Yes. I could go down the list, right? You know, they're trying to sell tickets to basically the freaking Houston Rockets and the Atlanta Hawks in Vegas right now. So I understand their troubles. People like to kick the NBA when they're down. I'm just pointing out the obvious here as far as the dark arena is concerned. It reminds me of the bubble. When we played in the bubble, they made it dark, and it was actually pretty cool, which I actually liked the bubble. I thought it was cool. And people know the Lakers won in the bubble. It was harder to win in the bubble. It was actually, the bubble was the most neutral playoff ever. There was no home court. There was no bias. There was no travel. It was just all like, all right, we're playing games in the same damn court, in the same city. We're all in the same circumstance. Who's the best? Right? Like, I never bought into that, and it's funny. It's the same thing. Like, people are whacked with the NBA. I think it's a racial thing, personally. People like to attack it on the NBA. Like, you hear that a lot. Oh, the Lakers. Right? And you hear this kind of thing about the Dodgers. Oh, they didn't win. They won in, it was COVID season they won. I don't hear anybody in the hockey world saying, oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup has an asterisk next to it. They didn't play with any fans. They played in a hub. Right? Right? It's just all perception. So, so it is just a fact. It's all dark, the NBA, whatever. The second half has started. It's actually a close game. It's 59-53 right now for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like I said, the second half has just started. In-game total is 209.5, and the game is essentially a pick 'em right now. Milwaukee are minus 1.5. But if you look at college football, the playoffs, and you look at ticket prices for the playoff games, they haven't even sold out in Texas, which actually blows my mind. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, finding out that Saturday night's main event had higher ratings than the NBA Cup didn't blow my mind. That's like, that's not surprising. That's supposed to happen. You're telling me the Texas Longhorns, the mighty Texas Longhorns, can't sell out a football game, a playoff game? And you want to talk about the NBA having problems? What in the name of high school football in Texas, as the saying is? What, seriously. The Texas Longhorns are in the playoffs. They're having a hard time selling tickets for this game. Now, that stadium's not going to be empty or anything like that. It's not sold out. You can get in for like $70. Like, think about it. You can get into $70 for the Clemson, Texas game. For the record, like the other ones aren't that much either, really. You can get into Penn State for like 150 type of deal. A little under $200. You can get a pretty good seat actually for like $300-400. The only hot ticket this weekend is Indiana and Notre Dame. And don't be fooled and think, oh, it's because it's such a special thing. No, you know why? Because Indiana and Notre Dame, you have two fan bases that are in close proximity. This is the problem with your stupid college football playoff format. So what, you expect these kids and fans to, like, look at me last year. I can't go to the semifinal and I'm going to fly to Texas for the final and all this. No, I picked one game to go to. I went to the Rose Bowl. I saw Michigan and Alabama, and I watched the championship game on TV after. Like, it's the same thing right now. If you're a college football fan and you want these kids, what do you expect the kids to do? You want them to go to 4 games in a row? You want them to shell out money? Like, oh, yeah, we got to play this, then the quarterfinal, then the semifinal, then the final? No, people are going to kick back. I'm just surprised that in Texas they can't sell out, right? I'm just surprised. Like, Penn State's going to be sold out, but it's a soft ticket market. You know what I'm saying? It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. SMU don't even have any fans, right? It's a small school. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing in the middle of nowhere in the mountains in Pennsylvania. It's only Penn State fans going to be up there. They're all fired up for it. It's going to be a big-time whiteout with the snow and their whiteout stuff. Whatever. I find whiteouts to be pretty stupid and lame, to be honest. Ooh, everyone's wearing white. Oh, that's intimidating. Was it a KKK rally? Like, it was just like the whiteout. Oh, I know. Imagine, I'm a player. Oh, my God, guys, can you imagine? You got a bunch of smart-ass, dumbass kids wearing white T-shirts. We're scared now. Wow. The Winnipeg Jets have been doing a whiteout. They're like the ones that invented it. And they've never won anything ever in their franchise history. So maybe you should try a blackout or a blue out or a pink out. Same with Penn State. As a Michigan fan, I always laugh. Oh, it's a whiteout. Yeah, good for them. So what? These kids can puke over their white shirts. Good for them. Just like James Franklin usually pukes over his white shirt. But I think Penn State are going to roll SMU. All right, Loud Esmond's going to join us tonight. We'll talk college football. Rick Saratella, we're talking NFL football, NFL draft, ton of stuff to break down and talk with Rick about. Andrew McKinnis steps up and in a Red Cam Stewart. McKinnis and Cam will be all over the late night hockey tonight. And in fact, this game just started. The Ottawa Senators and the Seattle Kraken. Let's jump in on this. Give me the Ottawa Senators. The Senators 5-1 in their last 6 games, and they've only given up 9 goals in their last 6 games. The reason why Ottawa are playing as well as they are is because their defense has been good. They're getting great goaltending right now, and that's why they're actually favorites on the road. Minus 145 right now in the Pacific Northwest against the Seattle Kraken. Give me the Senators to win this hockey game, and let's go under the 5.5. Let's roll. This is SportsRage.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move. Right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But I do have hope for him. I think at season's end he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson is going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bust, and everybody else in between. It's been a wild day. Like I said, we got a lot going on. We got the NBA Cup. The Bucks are balling right now, although the game is close in Vegas. The countdown of the college football playoffs are on. We got bowl game going on right now, the NBA Cup, and big news from Major League Baseball today as the New York Yankees continue to spend money that Juan Soto did not want to take from them. And they brought in Devin Williams from the Milwaukee Brewers. They signed Max Fried from the Atlanta Braves. and now they bring in Cody Bellinger today. Now, I like what they're doing. I like what the Yankees are doing. You're getting 3 players for less than the price of 1, essentially, here from a depth perspective. I think it's good. And I love Cody Bellinger. I'm a big Cody Bellinger guy. He won a World Series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. But all you need to know is the Dodgers are a pretty smart organization, aren't they? And they realize, this guy can't stay. This is it's not going to end well for Cody here. We've got to get rid of him. And, so I respect him. I like him. He has his flashes, but I'm telling you right now, guys, Cody Bellinger is not built for New York. He's a sensitive dude. He didn't like Dodger fans, and Dodger fans are pretty supportive, and Dodger fans turned on him and started booing him and stuff, and he went into a depression and stuff like that. Sending him to New York is not the place. Yankee fans are not the friendliest people. Nice people in real life, but they feel it's their God-given right as a New Yorker to be rude to players. It's like the mayor in Ghostbusters. It's every New Yorker's God-given right to be a jerk, right? That's the way that they see it. But they're from the mentality of, hey, I paid my money for the tickets. I get to say what I want to say. I paid your salary. They're like that. I pay your salary. Right,
Bellinger's freaky too, Gabe. He can get hot, but when he goes cold,
the guy goes 0 for 40 and he hits 4 home runs one day. He's not let's just call it out for what it is. It's not some sort of blockbuster signing here.
No.
Right? And once again, the Toronto Blue Jays wanted someone and missed out. They should put that on the Blue Jays tombstone. We'll bring McKinnis in a minute, but that's how every player the Blue Jays were interested, but fell short. Yeah, okay. It's getting old.
It really is. These reports are so stupid and whatever. Oh, the Blue Jays, I see 9. The Blue Jays are at the top of the list for this guy. Top of the list. Reports say.
Yeah, even I've given up believing it because it's it never happens.
It never.
Let's go before we bring McKinnis in, though. I got an early best of X because this just is mind-blowing, this story about Cody Bellinger and the New York Yankees that I hope was discussed with people before. All right, let's roll this. Let's go with the an early best of X here with Cody Bellinger and a New York Yankee situation, if we can. Do we need the Jeopardy music here right now? While you guys get this, I'll bring Andrew McKinnis in right now. Get the clip. All right, get the clip. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Trying to professionally buy time for them here, but it's figure it out. Get the clip up.
There it is.
All right. The clip about Cody Bellinger and the New York Yankees, please. Oh, man. All right. Let's bring in Andrew McKinnis right now. What's going on, McKinnis? How you doing?
Hi, McKinnis. Happy all day.
I hate to be the sad reason for you guys to be bringing me in. It's all right, let's bring Andrew in, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
good to see you guys. How are you?
That's amazing.
Sorry. Yeah, you're all right. Let's go to McKinnis then. All right. So as I was saying, so Cody Bellinger gets traded to the New York Yankees. Cody Bellinger's wife used to be married to Giancarlo Stanton, and this is mind blowing to me that unless Cashman asked Stanton first and said, "Listen, we're bringing Bellinger in, and I know he's married to your ex-wife. Is this okay?" Because if he didn't, if I was Stanton, I'd want out. And I get it that Stanton, isn't what he once was, but to bring in a player that is married to your ex-wife, I've never heard of this before. You want to talk about clubhouse issues. You expect these guys to get along? No, like I said, I don't know. Maybe they have some sort of thing and everybody's buddies and it's all cool and stuff. But considering how she looks, I can't imagine it's too cool. After the fact. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Seems like a really, 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 really bad idea. There's not a lot of things that can splinter locker rooms. Women is one of them. There really isn't a lot, right? Fame, money, ego, press coverage. The number one thing that is the most is women, right? And There was a player in the NHL, guys, man, he used to sleep with anybody, like players' wives, girlfriends, this and that. And, like, he was in the league for a long time, man. Anytime you noticed, I knew this, and everyone would always laugh that knew. Anytime he'd get hit or he'd get roughed up or he'd get into it, his teammates would never go near him, right? They'd be like, you're on your own, bro. And why? Because he couldn't keep it in his pants. And it didn't matter who he was with. Like I said, this is an unusual situation, to say the least. Like, they'll trade players because of this stuff normally. They'll be like, yeah, listen, we can't have two players like with this. We have a problem. We got to split the room up. Like, unbelievable to me that this story. But it is the same New York Yankee franchise that once had players trade wives in the earlier 70s. Which is one of the wildest stories, which is a true story. Two Yankee players, they were swingers. Yeah, it was the 70s. They were swingers, and everybody was having sex with everybody in those days. So they just said, hey, you know what? I like your wife better than my wife, and you like my wife better than your, So why don't we just swap wives here and, like, call it a trade? And they did. And they did a big story about it. The Yankees were upset. They were like, what kind of organization are we running here? And for the record, one of the couples stayed together. They're still together till death. And the other ones broke up like pretty soon after. So there's a Christmas holiday Hallmark love story for everybody.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. The Memphis Tigers have just kicked another field goal. So it's 20-7 right now for Memphis. They're looking pretty good. West Virginia did respond with a touchdown to make it 17-7. Memphis just came right back and put a field goal on the board. I had my concerns about the over this game, wondering where the points are going to come from for West Virginia tonight. So I was kind of happy, actually, even though I'm big on Memphis, that they scored a touchdown. It's 20-7 right now with under 3 minutes left in the first half of the game. All right, so let's bring in Andrew McKinnis right now. We got some live hockey going on. Still scoreless. I jumped in on the under 5.5, and I'm on the Ottawa Senators here tonight. McInnes, who are you on in this game? Ottawa and Seattle.
I'm on the Kraken. I'm on the home team here. Look, Ottawa's been good. They're on a good home streak. But this is a thing for me is that I just think that they're going to be one of those teams right now that plays well at home. And this is a road trip coming up for them, whether it's early in the road trip or late in the road trip. I think things are going to be a little bit different. And I never thought I would say this, but the Ottawa Senators are doing to teams what they used to get done to them. And that's winning in low scoring fashion and having their goaltender save them. And I'm telling you, it's good. Allmark is being who they thought he was going to be. But if they play tonight like they've been playing the past few games, they're not going to win because they've been relying heavily on their goaltending. Don't get me wrong. Stützle, Batherson, Tkachuk playing very well, but this is going to be a Seattle team at home, very desperate. So I took Seattle, and I do have a small piece of Boston here. These were just small plays for me, but I just think this Flames team is going to kind of crumble towards the end of the game. But, hey, they've proven me wrong so far.
I like this Calgary Flames team. This Calgary team this year reminds me of Vancouver last year, actually. Ottawa, Seattle, Cam, who are you on here?
Same as you. I love Ottawa right now. And I'll tell you, they look like they've turned a corner watching this team closely. I think they're playing a lot crisper hockey. Allmark's been playing better, Gabe. And it's the books are pretty smart. It was a good, it's hard to lay juice with Ottawa on the road, but it was a small price. And I'm with you. I just, hockey was good last night. We got the Canucks and did really well on the board. I think Ottawa beats Seattle tonight. I just think they look a lot better than they did at the start of the year, and I think they can win a road game. I'm also taking a shot with San Jose first period plus a half and money line against Winnipeg. This line looks fishy to me. I'll take S.J. Sharkey in the first and see if we can bet this game live. I know there's just something weird about that line today. I don't know how you guys feel about that game.
Cam, I'll tell you, it's the mom's trip. Watch out for the mom's trip for the Jets. Watch out for those family member trips.
I'm done with this dad's trip, mom's trip, whatever trip. Play the damn hockey game. I couldn't care less about the relatives.
I'm telling you guys, if the dad's trip, it doesn't matter. It's the mom's trip. I've realized that the dad's trip.
Dude, I've been saying this for years, bro. People are like, "Oh, it's the dad's trip." The dad's trip is the worst time to bet on them.
Yeah,
they're taking their dads out. Hey, dad, this is how you live in the NHL. We'll take you to the strip club. We'll take you to this 5-star hotel and eat steak and drink. And they live it up. They show like the dad. Hey, this is what we work for, hockey dad. This is the spoils. This is what it is. And like you said, McInnes, the mom's trip. Players are on their best behavior, bro. They're not going to get all stupid and get lit up and like, oh yeah, my mom is on the road with us. Let's go out to Treasure Strip Club. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, no, the moms are on the road with us. Let's pretend. Another thing is too, even a lot of these guys are, you're in your early 20s and stuff, whatever. You don't want your mom thinking you're living some wild life, right? So it's like, no, it's really cool, Mom. We go to bed at 10 every night after the game, and we go right back to the hotel and eat. Like, you go shopping with her during the day. You take her out to the local rich street in the city, and you buy her whatever she wants. You're more focused. I like the mother's trip much better, McInnes. So what's your pick? Mother's pick or the San Jose Sharks?
Look, I don't have a pick in this game, but I will say when I saw that, I was kind of tempted to jump on the Jets. I was tempted.
Yeah, but it's minus 220, so that's the problem. We can't.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
You got to do it on the puck line. I think the Jets beat them, but I think it could be close. So it could be sweating out the puck line type of deal.
You guys are
I'm going to say like
3-2
Jets or something.
Yes, Morency. I took S.J. Sharkey plus 1. I just want to say this. They have a game here. They have a game in Anaheim. The next game over Christmas, because I did a show with the guys, Jets fan. They go to Toronto to play the Leafs and then play Ottawa. Those are games right around Christmas. So it just, to me, this could be a spot where the Jets are like, we're playing San Jose. You know what I mean? And San Jose kind of takes advantage of those spots. And a lot of their young players are playing well. So I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. I think if the Jets win, maybe an overtime win, 1-goal win. I know their empty netters always in play, but I'm telling you, I like S.J. Sharkey at this price tonight.
I took the under 5.5 in game here. Boston and Calgary. There's 4 minutes left in the second period. Calgary up 2-1. I just want under 5.5. What's that, McInnes?
Gabe, I'll tell you another thing. These guys at the start of the year, McInnes, since that Jets, you remember they came out, we're the best team, and Shoffley, all these guys they've been 7-9 in their last 16. They're coming back down to earth. Like, people think the Jets are this team.
That is true.
Seen them. They come down and go, ooh, the Jets.
Very
yeah,
true.
What do the Jets do in the playoffs? They're the same as the Leafs. They suck. They'll get knocked out. So you know what? They're not the team everyone thinks they are. That's my opinion.
Sharks have lost 4 of the last 5.
They have.
Throw that out there.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that
Let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is SportsRage, and as I take the under 5.5 in the Flames and Bruins, the Calgary Flames have just scored. It's 3-1 Flames right now. 2 minutes left in the second period. Big time goal. Got a 1-goal lead. Couple of minutes left in the period. You make it a 2-goal lead. Flames now up 3-1. Neither me or McInnes like that goal right there. Ottawa Senators and the Seattle Kraken. They've actually played, they played about 14 minutes right now. We're still scoreless at the Climate Pledge Arena, and the Jets and Sharks are getting ready to drop the puck. College football, don't look now, but the West Virginia Mountaineers have punched another touchdown in. 20-14 right now. We've got a game, and this game is turning into somewhat of a track meet right now, starting to open up quite a bit. So 20-14, in-game total suddenly 65.5. Memphis were just laying like 15.5 just minutes ago, and now it's currently 7.5 right now. All right, so we got McInnes and Cam Stewart in the house with us. We got a lot of football talk coming up. Rick Saratello is going to join us, Loud Esmond as well. We got the NBA Cup going on right now in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the Milwaukee Bucks are in control, big-time control right now, 80-66. Early in the fourth quarter of play, the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up super flat right now with only 66 points, and the Bucks are rolling in Las Vegas. All right, so McInnes, you watch a lot of junior hockey. You go to junior hockey games. We were talking last week about the roster reveals of both the U.S. and the Canada national teams. World Junior Hockey Championship set to begin in Ottawa the day after Christmas. And I was looking around here. This is really interesting and pretty wild, actually. And so FanDuel, you look at the odds for the World Junior Hockey Championships at FanDuel, and they have FanDuel has Canada favored, and like pretty big favorites as well. So like the World Juniors, the future price, Canada plus 130. USA plus 165, Sweden plus 650. I look over at Bet365 that has a lot of Canadian customers, and ironically enough, Bet365 have the United States as favorites And I remember you and I talking about it, McKinnis, when the number came out, and I told you, I said, wow, what do you think? We were talking about USA as plus 125 favorites. And we thought, we said, you know what, you're surprised it wasn't minus money for the USA. FanDuel has the USA plus 165 right now, guys. Pretty wild swing, guys, for the World Junior Hockey Championships. You always hear people talk about have as many books as you can and all that type of stuff. But for events like this, it's pretty clear because this is a massive difference, man, between USA plus 165 and USA plus 125. How do you feel about this now, McKinnis, that the tournament is coming up?
Yeah, I mean, look, Gabe, you're right. People always say shop around, shop around, shop around. But I think especially for something like this, it probably applies the most. Well, you can have your book that you bet NBA on, your book that you bet NHL. But if for a tournament like this, you definitely want to be doing that. Here's the deal. And one thing I will say is that USA has an advantage. And I'm not just saying this as an angry Canadian, that they have guys that go back to college, right? So I'm talking about, real World Junior stuff here. They got guys like Ryan Leonard going to be playing his third straight World Junior. He's going for his third gold medal, right? Connor Bedard could be on the team for Team Canada this year, right? Macklin Celebrini could be on the team for Team Canada this year. Zach Benson could be on the team for Team Canada this year. They're all playing in the NHL. So it's an advantage as far as chemistry is concerned for Team USA. Now, here's the
USA
deal.
do have guys in the NHL as well. I get your point, though, but they have guys in the NHL as well.
So I think that the reason why Canada chose some of the guys that they chose is that they realized that they're probably not going to win off skill. They're winning off that. They went with a hard-nosed team. You look at their roster up and down, you look at skill-wise, some people, I saw somebody make a roster of the rejects saying that roster of the rejects might be better than the actual team of Team Canada. But it's just very similar to what we talked about last week, Gabe, with the world, the four nations. These countries and these teams are not being built like an all-star team. They're being built like a regular hockey team. And I like what Canada has in their third line. I like what they have in their fourth line. They're physical. They're going to be pretty good, but I expect a lot of unders from them. I think they're going to be a real low-scoring team this year. I mean, look, not against some of the weaker teams, but the key for them is going to be defensive success. But I'd be very shocked if USA are not putting up massive numbers. And let's not forget, about Higgins. Everyone's saying tank for Higgins right now in the NHL. He's going to get a chance to showcase what he can do for Team USA. So, USA deserve to be the favorites from where I'm sitting, but I think it's going to be a real good example this year for Team Canada. The roster they're assembling is for a real rough and tough hockey team, not really a showcase and all-star team by any means.
I'll call it, I'm going to make this easy for people, although this only helps people basically in Ontario, like Cam Stewart. But all you have to do is you get Canada at plus 150 to win the World Junior Hockey Championships at Bet365, and you take USA to win the World Junior Hockey Championships at FanDuel at plus 165.
Yep.
And you're walking away with one or the other if you have an account at both. Now, FanDuel is only available in Ontario, in Canada, which is unfortunate because I would do this. I doubt. Listen, the USA are getting to the final. Maybe Canada would choke under the pressure along the way, but it's highly likely that it's going to end up being these two teams in the final in Ottawa. We should note it's in Ottawa as well. These two teams are playing on New Year's Eve, McKinnis. That ticket's going to be hot in Ottawa. That's going to be a big-time night. New Year's Eve, USA, Canada, World Junior Championships, also the same night as the Fiesta Bowl. But, listen, my grandfather played for Team Canada, so I could, play up the homer card here. But USA are going to win this event, I believe. Even though it's in Ottawa, I think the USA are the bet. And I think the FanDuel play here, and, I'm going to look around at a couple other books here and see what numbers they got. But USA at plus 165 is a run, not walk type of bet, in my opinion.
Well, let's call a spade here. This lineup that Team Canada put forward and the GM put forward, whoever made this team, if it doesn't go well and they get embarrassed or don't even really come close, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. And I mean this, like, if people look at the roster that they put out there, there's not one, not two, not three. There's like 5 or 6 guys. People are shocked that didn't even get an invitation to this team. Like, not even a chance to try out. They didn't even get an invitation. So it's going to be real interesting to see, because, that's really the breaking news here in Canada, is that if they don't win this tournament, it's one thing. If they don't look good in the tournament, there's like 6 players that got left off.
There's guys who are at the top of their league, Gabe, OHL, WHL, they're not there. Like, it was actually a lot of controversial picks. McInnes is right. Like, they're like, well, how do these guys who are at the top of their game not get there? So these guys are going on a flyer, and McInnes is right. If things don't work out, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath by the hockey media.
Yeah, but it is every time anyways. So it's not new.
No, you're right. Best players, though.
Yes, that's the thing. They're taking even more chances this year. That's what he's trying to say. That's like,
well, they went with what they think they're trying to slow down the U.S. team, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, point blank, they're built to try to slow down the USA skill. And we've talked about it. The NCAA is, it's overtaken junior hockey, right? I mean, I like to see, that would be the ultimate series, actually. That's what I like to see with all these matchups and all that. I like to see the NCAA champion versus the Memorial Cup champion. Who would you take, McInnes?
Well, Gabe, but again here, I know I'm biased, but look, I mean, Ryan Leonard's playing his 3rd year. Imagine if Bedard got 3 years. I watched him tear it up with a bubble on his face because he couldn't wear a shield. He was too young. Like,
but that's why they're getting better, though. It's not really fair, but it's true.
Well, they're the same age.
Connor Bedard, Like, Connor McDavid's not playing for the Erie Otters for 4 years.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We're going to move on from the World Juniors. We'll get into it next week again as it begins on Boxing Day, day after Christmas. It's kind of like it's like March Madness. People are like, what is this tournament about? What's the best way of putting it? It's like March Madness in a sense for Canadians and the American hockey world type of deal. But it's not a March, man. It's international, but it's all draft picks. So basically, you're watching future NHL star players play. Like almost every one of these players that plays in this tournament will be, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'd say like, this isn't like the NCAA where like, 1.2% of players make it to the pros. No, the World Junior Championships, if you're in this, you've already been drafted or you're going to get drafted highly. You know what I mean? Sweden, Finland, Canada, the U.S. This is the NHL draft, essentially, this tournament. And then you got a bunch of NCAA stars that have already been drafted. That's why the U.S. now have the advantage. But like I was saying, guys, if you're in Ontario and shop around, I'm going to look around for this too and see these different numbers. I'm going to start looking at books here now. But you can get Canada plus 150 at one spot and USA at plus 165 at another. Either way, you're walking away with a profit, and then you can bet the tournament along the way. But let me ask you, McKinnis, you know, we were talking about the world, the nations stuff there, whatever, the four-team nations. They're like, I think Sweden legitimately could win, right? What about Sweden here? You know, Sweden, Finland, Czechia, Slovakia, one of these other teams. Who's the other team? Who's the sleeper in this bunch?
Czechia
Sweden?
was my sleeper last year, and I'm going to say Finland's going to be good this year. I think they're going to be strong. They're really growing, and Finland, for some whatever it might be, I'm not sure what it is. It seems like they don't really develop forwards as much, but every prospect from Finland, Gabe, is a defenseman or a goaltender, and they're pretty good on the blue line. They've got some overagers.
They put Quebec
line.
out of business in the goalie business.
Yeah, sure.
Every goalie used to be Jean-Guy, like Slapshot Cam. The goalie was French. And Cheers, Rebecca, the girlfriend.
Eddie Lebec.
Eddie, you know, it was always a French guy. Like the goalie's always a French guy. From, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm the goalie. Hey, we stop the puck. Right. Now it's like, hey, I'm from Finland. I stopped the puck for you.
That was the best.
They have like these goalie camps in Finland and stuff. They're just like, they're factories, bro. They're spitting these goalies out. Sweden and too, but Finland, and like you said, yeah. And all their forwards are the same, McKinnis. They're all like Lindholm that was on the Canucks and the Bruins. Like they're all, you know what I mean? They're all like, they'll give you 20 goals, but they're good defensively. They're not stars. Like Finnish players are solid second line players. Like you draft a Finn, it's one of those deals. Yeah, we're getting this Finnish kid. He's not a star, but we're going to plug him in. He's going to play in the league for 12 years, and he'll be on the second line for 12 years.
They won't hurt you. Defensively, they're very unselfish players. And Gabe, you know what? Great point too. They're big.
Timo Solani was the best ever Finn star. Saku Koivu was very good, but Solani was kind of, I'm thinking off the top of my head, like they're one.
Yeah.
Like goal score. Well, I was like, whoa, like, you know what I mean?
Well, nobody wants to hear this, guys, but this is the thing, is that these type of teams are, and I know a lot of the listeners right now probably don't bet this tournament too much unless it's the USA, Canada, if they're betting
they will
it at
now
all.
Because we're telling them to.
I hope so. I really hope so. But here's the thing, is that these teams are the ones that you make the real money on. Like, I've got buddies that make a bunch of Christmas money just betting on props with Sweden, Czechia, Finland. Like, the Canada and USA games are the ones that are lined properly, right? Are you betting the Alabamas and the Georgias, or are you betting Middle Tennessee? Because this is kind of that example. Like, when people are kind of fired up for that Canada game, I'm a fan. I can get adrenaline enough watching. I'm going to be betting that Finland versus Latvia game at 4 a.m. when it's in Sweden, you know, waking up to make money on that game. So realistically, if we're trying to make money, you got to be betting on those teams and not just when the big teams are playing.
I can't lie. The only reason I'm as enthusiastic about this tournament is because there are numbers everywhere. If there wasn't numbers everywhere, I wouldn't have just spent the last 10 minutes talking about this. I'd be like, whatever. Like, that doesn't help anybody. But the thing is, arbitrage betting, exactly. And the thing is, books have it. Like America books have it. Like it's you know what I mean? Books are now posting stuff for everything now. They want action. Like, it used to be kind of more selective with this tournament, but now, and it's on the NHL Network in the U.S., so you can watch it. And obviously on Canada, it's on 24/7. They've been previewing it for 4 months. Finland, how about this? Finland are plus 370 to win the bronze medal. They're the kings of bronze medals. That's a good bet. Give me Finland to finish third, plus 170.
Wow, that's a pretty
cool bet. They always finish third.
That's actually a pretty cool bet.
They love
you just got to hope they get in the bronze medal game and you hope for the best. You know what I mean? Them versus Sweden or whatever, you know?
Remember the Swedish player when he tossed his medal in the crowd? He didn't want the silver or the bronze. He just said, anything but gold. He tossed it in there.
I like
that's
his style.
ridiculous. I don't like his style. I like anything on the podium. I'll take it. You want to give me a medal?
Like my grandfather
right.
said, we didn't win silver, we lost gold.
Silver, yeah, it's a good point. But he'll regret it.
My grandfather didn't care about a silver medal. He was like, yeah. No, he was really like, yeah, whatever.
I wanted to win the bronze medal game because you got at least the team who comes fourth comes home with nothing. At least we get something, and it kind of looks like gold. It's bronze.
It depends on what your expectation was.
You win silver, you lost to get it. At least if you win bronze, you won to get that. You know what I mean? You feel like you actually earned it. Silver is like the loser's award.
No. I talked about it during the Olympics. Yeah. They did a psychological thing with all athletes and stuff, in which the 2 out of the 3 people on the podium, the first and third place finishers were the happiest McInnes. The winner in the third place, right? And the 1 second feels remorse by not winning, right? And they don't feel like, hey, I'm second, this is better than third. No, they're like, no, I didn't. This is a failure. So you always look at the podiums. It's funny. You're the winner smiling. The silver medal is always just sort of standing there thinking, and you can tell it's reliving in their mind, oh, God, I came so close. And then the bronze, it's always like, hey, I finished third. Hey, this is great. So, yeah, you got all kinds of props up at FanDuel. Easton Cowan tournament total points. All right, so we'll get McInnes' football picks on the other side here. We got Rick Saratella stepping up and in. It's 28-17 at the half right now for the Memphis Tigers. Wow. So we're up to 45 points, but West Virginia are hanging around here. Hey, they score a touchdown. They're covering the number. So they're currently getting 12.5 right now. The in-game total is 75.5 at the half. Scoreless in Seattle still after 20 minutes of play.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The Twisted Tuesday continues. All right, we got McInnes for a couple more minutes, so my boy Rick Saratella is going to step up and in after. We're at the half right now. I bet the over this game before the game started. I haven't jumped in on the in-game over yet, and it just keeps on getting there right now. 28-17. In-game total is 75.5 right now, so they're at 45, and it's at 75. and a half right now. So 31 points gets us there in the second half. And I think West Virginia's offense has started to get better as the game has gone on, actually. We just saw them hang 17 on the board here in the second. I think the scoring continues in this football game. Let's go over the 75 and a half. McInnes's Green Bay Packers punched Seattle Seahawks in the mouth on Sunday night. Dominant performance. That was a very impressive performance by the Pack going in there and winning the football game. The division is going to be tough for them to win, McInnes, but a big-time win for them. And on Monday night, the Green Bay Packers host the New Orleans Saints. Unfortunately for us, that has to be on the air during this football game. But the Packers should roll them.
Yeah, I mean, team total, first half, full game, whatever it might be, but I'm going to be on the full game over. I mean, I know it might sound shocking looking at some of the games we've seen the Saints be involved in, but there have been some games where they've been able to score themselves. They're just giving up a ton of points. And after the big win for the Packers, they've been on a pretty good string of games. Even in losses, they've looked pretty good. I'm going to take the over because, I mean, some of these totals here we've seen with these Packers game, I know that they have a decent defense, but I'm seeing 42 where I shop. I like the over in that game. I think the Packers and the Saints can get up and over in that one. Guys, another favorite here I like here. I've been, quietly taking these favorites. People love the dogs, but I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I mean, look, the Cowboys, they were dogs against the Panthers. I mean, good luck with the Panthers being a favorite, but I don't care how many points the Cowboys put up last week. The Buccaneers are better, and they're going to cover the point spread. There was one more that I really liked this week. Where was it? This one might shock you guys a little bit. Give me the Raiders at home against the Jacksonville Jags. Look, that team is in shambles.
Wow.
Watching Ritter yesterday, it was one of those moments, and you're not supposed to say this when you watch TV as a fan. I was like, I could have made that throw, and I said that like 20 times. But this team as a whole, it's not horrible. You know what I mean? Like if they make the simple play, they can actually move the ball, and their defense is okay. I feel like they'll get the job done. It's a pick. I think they're going to win the game outright.
This might be the worst game of the year. Jacksonville at Las Vegas. Atlanta and Vegas last night was just pure hell. And Atlanta are a lot better than Jacksonville are. That's a bold pick, McInnes. That's a bold pick. This is, like you said, this is one of these games where literally and figuratively I would not go if you gave me a ticket for it. Like if I lived in Las Vegas still, and you said, I got free tickets to the Jags Raiders, do you want to go? I would say no. Why? Like, that's just 4 hours of your life you're never going to get back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And this is why I tweet out every single weekend how many people are watching some of these games if it wasn't for sports betting and fantasy football. If we're being really honest, guys, some of these games this year in the NFL have not been good. Not been good. Favorites are covering at a higher clip than a long time. Some of these, look at yesterday. I mean, did the Dogs have a chance in either of those games? I mean, it's just not been a good
Raiders
product
did.
for a lot of.
They missed an extra point. They screwed up. I think they actually played pretty good. Bears suck.
I think the ratings would be cut by about 60%, McInnes.
Yeah.
Like it would be more than cut in half. Like, you know what I mean? And betting is bigger than it's ever been before, but as it is now, basically they do a lot of studies about this. Right, like a good example is the NFL only made $120 million last year from sports books, and you ask yourself, like, why the hell do they even care? They make $20 billion a year this league. What do you care about $120 million deals to have sportsbook ads all over your games? Well, they realize, and they know, they're not stupid, that people that bet watch more. Right? It's not about the money. It's not like, oh, we cut a deal. Oh, wow, we got $20 million from DraftKings over the next 5 years. Yeah, dude. That doesn't pay for, like, Roger Goodell's bottled water in his office. The whole point is they know people that bet at these books are 21, 22, whatever, the demographic that they want to get in for life moving forward. You're bang on. I said the same thing last night. If not for fantasy football and betting and props and stuff, the NFL would be like every other league. You know what I mean? They'd get a couple of million people watching the games.
sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today. Yeah. And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas? I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, to pitch the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, everybody else in between, including Rick Saratella, founder of the NFL Draft Bible, All Access Football.com. And there's a lot of football to talk about right now, and especially about the NFL Draft. You and I talk about the NFL Draft on a weekly basis throughout the year, but now it's a hot topic of conversation. It's a race to the bottom between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Football Giants, although that's being kind, calling them the New York Football Giants. There's a lot of other things that they could be called. The Raiders, as of right now, have the top pick in the draft, and if they lose out, they will have the top pick in the draft. And there's no secret that Shedeur Sanders wants to be a Las Vegas Raider. We're getting close to all the pieces falling into place for Shedeur Sanders and for the city of Las Vegas.
What a race. Yeah, it's based on the strength of schedule, and I think it's a 0.14 differential right now that gives the Raiders the number one pick. But that could change. You know, I think that one team's lost 10 games in a row. The other team lost 9 games in a row. But that strength of schedule could change, even if every team loses out. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, they could both lose out, so it matters the teams that they're playing almost and what happens there. This is a very unique season, isn't it, Rick? You've been around the draft a long time. I mean, I can't recall so many bad teams. You know what I mean? Like, there's teams that normally would be like, yeah, man, we only won 3 games, man. We're going to have like a top 3 pick. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to have like the 9th pick, right? Like, there's so many bad teams this year.
Look at how, I mean, Kirk Cousins is a terrible quarterback. Jameis Winston's getting benched for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And here's the bad news. The bad news is the most attractive free agent quarterback is going to be Sam Darnold, Mason Rudolph.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones's agent is actually feeling pretty good about the offseason right now. He actually is.
Well,
he's like, all right, we'll be fine, Danny. Don't worry, we'll be fine. There'll be multiple teams.
Well, and I put that list out because, like, now Carson Beck might return, Jalen Milroe might return, but it's slim pickings. And somebody said, "Well, hey, Jameis
the kid from Penn State,
Drew Allar's returning." Or someone said, "Yo, Jameis Winston needs to be on that list." Okay, dude. Like, if that's the dice you want to roll and you want to go along that excursion, I mean, the guy's bound to throw at least 2 interceptions a game. He's going to have some hurrah moments, but that's not a guy that you want to go into the regular season as a starting quarterback. So there's going to be a hot market for Shedeur Sanders and Cameron Ward.
And there's a massive drop-off. So as Rick just stated, there's a lot of uncertainty about a lot of quarterbacks. And let's not forget, guys, and remember I was screaming from the rooftop, Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers should not be the favorites to be the top pick in the NFL draft. I was screaming from the rooftops earlier this year. And here we are right now. There are reports, and there's a lot of stuff that could happen still, but you see the same thing, Rick, and hear the same things. There's talk of Quinn Ewers wanting to return to college still. And you brought it up before. It's a new world, bro. You can make $5 million, right? You can make real money. It's not, you know what I mean? You can become a multi-millionaire without even playing in the NFL now. So Quinn Ewers is thinking, you know what? I'm not, I like college. I haven't played great. I'm thinking about coming back. And then word is Texas or it's like, well, we're going to have Arch Manning. So Quinn Ewers could cash in the transfer portal potentially. Jalen Milroe seems to be up in the air about everything so much that it's frustrating Alabama. Is he coming back? Is he staying? Is it this? Does he want to play in this bowl game against Michigan to improve his draft stock? He's been pretty inconsistent. What do you think about Milroe's prospects right now? Should he go back? Because he was pretty inconsistent this year.
He should absolutely go back. I'm not sure he should go back to Alabama.
To Alabama, yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, if you look at DeBoer, what he did, he had all this success with Penix, who's a pocket passer. And I don't think it really played well to Milroe's strength. So I think he should come back. I think he should go to a program that fits his style.
You could almost step in for like Miami and Cam Ward. You're right. Now he could do the Cam Ward role and run around and be the man, so to speak, instead of – and plus in Bama, people get mad at everything he does all the time. I'd be tired of it if I was him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of run its course, that whole situation. But I will say this. It's going to be an interesting musical chairs in college football with the quarterback position because they're saying Ohio State would like Quinn Ewers. And the kid from Nebraska is about to get paid. I think he has an
Raiola.
$12.5 million, I heard, in the NIL portal. So what does Quinn Ewers go for? And at that point, if you're a borderline first-round pick, well, hey, let me go make an $8-figure NIL deal, improve my draft stock, solidify my first. Maybe I'm the first overall pick next year instead of being the 4th or 5th quarterback. So, I mean, it's fascinating.
Bryce Underwood, reportedly, there was a lot of numbers thrown around for Bryce Underwood, who signed with Michigan, about $10 million and all that. And it is, but that's hypothetical if it was 4 years. So he's making 2.5. But plus his own endorsements, like he's guaranteed 2.5. So he's got like up front, here's your 2.5. And now he already has his own website and he's selling this and he's selling that. And he's got a bunch of sponsors already. What a wild era. Dude, there's a high school basketball player, Rick, in Utah. Highest NIL deal for college basketball, $5 million BYU are going to give him for 1 year. So not the term, like 1 year, $5 million, it's only 1 year promise. And he's already got a $1 million deal with Red Bull. He's already got like a $2 million deal with Adidas. Kid's made $9 million without playing in college yet. Like, and there's coaches that went to jail a couple of years ago, bro, for hooking up a recruit there with a hooker and an envelope. Like the Auburn coach, basketball coach, assistant coach, he's in jail for this stuff. What a joke.
They're like, damn, we better give Reggie that Heisman back.
Yeah, exactly. Now they do. It's a great, we're looking, I better give him that. That's a good point. Speaking of which, I saw Genty's numbers were better than Reggie Bush's numbers, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at the level of competition. But listen, I want to get this in before we run out of time because I saw you comment about the Sacramento State NIL and they're recruiting Mike Vick. Yeah. FAU now maybe might bring in Ray Lewis, but I think this is the bold new world we're living in where you see Andrew Luck as the GM in Stanford, Billy Belichick wearing Carolina blue. And then talk
NFL
about
going to college. Yeah.
Michael Lombardi is the GM there. But this is what you're seeing now is give me a Michael Vick. Let him be a recruiter. Let him be a CEO. Let him surround himself with the Patrick Shermers and the Mike Zimmers of the world, and you just go recruit and show up with this NIL money. Hey, and at the end of the day, it's really who could throw down on the table, and it becomes, hey, you like playing, you like the action. I see some coaches out there in Colorado State and Norvell crying about they can't keep up with the NIL. Go do something about it. The team down the road figured it out. Go do better. People don't want to hear excuses. This is the world. It's the haves and the have-nots. Either you want to play ball or you don't.
Every university has rich donors, as you stated. You just got to crack them and get to them and win football games. It's what a wild era, where Wild West to call it football, and Belichick seems to be liking it early. I know we're really early in the process, but I saw him say, he goes, this is a lot like the NFL. Because he goes, this really isn't college. He goes, we're recruiting players the same way as free agents. And he goes, we're offering deals in the same way there's free agents. We're finding out what other teams are offering the deals are in the same way it's like free agency in the NFL. It's a very NFL-like structure right now in college football. All right, we're coming up against it here, but I wanted to get Rick's take on who's that third quarterback, right? I mean, we know Shedeur Sanders going to the NFL. We know he's going to be good. I think Cam Ward's going to be really good as well, right? But Quinn Ewers might not even be in the draft. Carson Beck might not be in the draft. We can go on and on. Who's that? All right, that other guy. And I'll ask Rick about that on the other side of More Bring It.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
SportsRage continues. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. I am Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it with Rick, Sarah, TellAllAccessFootball.com, NFL Draft Bible, and more. So, Rick, looking at the quarterback pool coming into this draft, and it's starting to thin out immensely. And we just discussed a couple of minutes ago about how a lot of these sort of stiff veteran quarterbacks in the NFL will have a market for them because there's just going to be nowhere to turn for the teams in the NFL. But how about one quarterback that I don't hear a lot of people talking about besides from the, the college perspective, Dylan Gabriel of the Ducks and UCF and of Oklahoma and everywhere, it feels like. But Dylan Gabriel, very similar to Bo Nix, has been around a long time. He's a super accurate passer. He's showing that he can win football games. He's on the verge of potentially winning a national championship right now. What are the pros and cons of Dylan Gabriel? And obviously, I guess the biggest con is his size, right? But what's your take on Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest hurdle, first and foremost, since you brought it up. You hit the nail on the head like you always do, Gabriel Morency. The size, right? And I think that with the modern day GM and the younger GM and the younger head coach, they can wrap their head around a 5'11" quarterback a little bit more. And I do think that Dylan Gabriel will benefit from the Bo Nix effect, because look at the impact Bo Nix is having. In fact, the Denver Broncos just cracked my top 10 power rankings for the first time all year because of how good the Denver Broncos are playing. We laughed earlier in the season, but again, you were out in front with saying, hey, Bo Nix is playing some really good football. So I think, Dylan Gabriel broke Bo Nix's record. I think he's got like 66 career games started. That means something to NFL evaluators. You can't teach experience. You can't teach all those different bullets flying at you. You can't teach all the different schemes. I scouted him in person at UCF, which was an up-tempo, run and gun. Then he bounced around a couple different spots. And I'll tell you what, he's going to be down there at the Senior Bowl. And I know we're talking about Dylan Gabriel, and I think he could sneak into the back end of the first round to answer your question. And I'm going to give you one other guy who I believe will rise throughout this process. He'll also be down there in Mobile, and I think it'll be a good apples-to-apples comparison, because that's why we love the Senior Bowl. The cream always rises to the top, and whether it's Daniel Jones, Christian Ponder, the list goes on and on. Somebody's going to elevate themselves to a first-round pick, and if it's not Dylan Gabriel...
E.J. Manuel? That's a Buffalo Bill fan. That's what E.J. No, you guys are right. Hey,
I'm going to
every player, Senior Bowl... hold on, but every Senior Bowl, there's always that quarterback that's going to rise and turn himself into the third or fourth round pick, the Jake Hayners of the world and all that. And there's always going to be a guy that turns himself into a top 10, top 15, potentially. We've seen it. Daniel Jones, E.J. Manuel. We've seen these quarterbacks show up there, really light it up, and suddenly their stock just shoots through the roof. I think they almost overemphasize it, but who's the guy that we should be looking at?
And in the infamous words of David Gettleman on Daniel Jones, we fell in love with him. We knew at the Senior Bowl he was our guy.
I think of that because the Bills said the same thing. They were like, it was raining really hard at the Senior Bowl that week, and E.J. Manuel was throwing the ball through the wind.
But you know what?
You could have scouted a little bit deeper than that, but I hear what you're saying.
At the end of the day, though, there is a human element to this. Like, remember the behind the scenes, Matt Rule is on the phone with Chuba Hubbard, and he's like, yo, you killed us at Baylor. Like, my wife was like, you can't not draft Chuba Hubbard. So here he is. And they signed Miles Sanders for all this big money, and Chuba Hubbard now outplays him and gets paid. He's a Canadian, by the way. Real quick, the guy you got to keep a lookout for. Yes, the guy you got to keep a lookout for is the Notre Dame quarterback, Riley Leonard. He's got physicality with the run game.
Sneaky with his legs, Rick. I was going to say, bigger guy, but sneaky with his legs. He's not afraid. And you know what I like? He'll lower shoulder a little bit. You don't want to see him do it too much, but he looks kind of like, the preppy, geeky kid, but he's a real competitor between the lines.
And, I hate to bring it up. He did go to Duke, so he's smart. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because there's always association games. Like you said, it's like it's going to come up. Like I brought it up. I'm like, Bo Nix played 56 games. Dylan Gabriel, they seem to be, on the same par here. And it's going to come up about, Riley Leonard, Daniel Jones, right? There'll be comparisons. And he does kind of play like Daniel Jones. Let's just be real.
And we just talked about it with Dylan Gabriel, the experience. The guy has started like 5 years at the college level. And at the end of the day, like when you want to invest in a quarterback for your franchise, you want somebody who's not going to embarrass you. Otherwise, you get...
or at least know he could be a backup, too. He won't be a complete bust. It's like, worse, he'll be a backup for us for years.
Right. He's going to bring something to the table inside the quarterback room, right? He's going to bring some kind of value.
What about the quarterback that he's playing against in Curtis Rourke? Not Nate BC Lion Rourke, but Curtis Rourke, who's a lot bigger than his brother Nate is. This is a massive showcase for him, isn't it? Because I know a lot of people like him, and, he's 6'5", and he's got the attributes. People seem to like his process, that he's smart, he gets the ball out to the right people, that he reads things properly. He played in the Big Ten, so you can't really question the competition, but people want to see more. Right, this is a massive showcase for him on Friday against Notre Dame. Massive show for both these kids going head-to-head.
Well, that's right, because Riley Leonard is a known commodity. And if Curtis Rourke could come in and kind of steal that thunder, that's a big deal. And you're right. I mean, because there is some skepticism around that Indiana squad. And there's also some truth, like, again, the human element, you're going to remember that final impression. There's something in that bowl game. It's a final impression to NFL scouts. They remember the last time they saw you. And if Curtis Rourke, who I right now have as a solid mid-round guy, I think he's in that day 3, early day 3, round 4, round 5. But if he goes in there, beats Riley Leonard, who knows? Maybe that kick-starts his momentum throughout this draft process.
Oh, it's a domino effect. As you stated, they win that game, then that buys him another week of hype in the national media leading into the Georgia game. You know what I mean? And if you beat Georgia, you know how this works. All right, we'll wrap up with Rick Saratella on the other side. We got to get some current NFL on the way out here. This is SportsRage.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
SportsRage Late Night continues. I'm Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, getting fired up for the college football playoffs. We're just breaking it down with Rick Saratella. And speaking of the NFL draft with Rourke going head-to-head with Riley Leonard. And, speaking of which, actually, though, people don't really realize this because their offense hasn't been prolific over the last couple of years. But Klubnik of the Clemson Tigers, big-time recruit out of high school, an interesting storyline. He actually beat Quinn Ewers in the Texas high school championship game. So they're rivals. They go back. They're rivals. And, is Klubnik, what's your take on Klubnik? Because, like I said, doesn't get talked about because Clemson's offense, isn't really prolific, but they're not loaded with skill position players either. Is he better than people realize, Klubnik?
Yeah, I mean, he really caught my attention the way he played down the second half of the season. He put up some big-time games, some big-time performances against quality competition. And
he's got a good arm.
Yeah, he can make all the throws. And I think to your point, like there was all this hype of him coming out of high school. He was like a big-time recruit and didn't really live up to the hype, right? So some of that shine, some of that luster kind of wore off. And then like down the stretch of the season, he's like, hey, guys, remember me? And he just had big game after big game.
He's from Austin, Rick. He's from Austin, bro. And they're playing in Austin against the Texas Longhorns. Pretty nice storyline here.
Yeah, well, that's a great storyline, and I would put them on the upset alert. And I'll say this: I could be wrong. I have a third round, a day 3 grade on him. I think he's a day 3 guy, developmental guy. But I could be wrong. I think he has a year of eligibility left. So a guy like that, Clemson probably wants to keep him.
Get him some skill position players, yeah. And actually, there's word is Clemson are actually hitting the portal a little bit for the first time.
You have no choice at this point.
No choice.
You got it.
Even Michigan, we didn't want to do it. We tried to resist it. Now it's like, dude, there's no choice. We won't. You will not be able to keep up unless you just try to steal other people's players. I want to get to the NFL, but speaking of Michigan, I think Tennessee can do a lot of the same things that Michigan did. Smash mouth running back. All right, Samson, smash mouth running back. Big physical defensive line. They can shut down Ohio State's run game. Check. You got James Pierce. There's your Mason Graham. Like, if you look at Michigan and Tennessee, there's a lot of similarities between them, actually. They don't have an explosive passing attack. They do a lot of things. But you could argue Tennessee are more talented than Michigan are this year. What's your take on this one? And, we're talking so much about offense, but here's another opportunity for James Pierce to put a little bit of an explanation point on things here against Ohio State.
I'm out on Ohio State. I really am. I think that loss against Michigan was demoralizing. And I don't think they're going to recover. And Dylan Sampson, you mentioned him. This is a guy that doesn't get talked about enough because I thought he was this best running back outside of Genty.
Well, it's all about Genty, right? But this kid's playing in the SEC, running over SEC linebackers and stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's no joke. And I'll tell you what, if Ohio State loses this game, I mean, there's a lot of smoke coming out of Columbus now with Mike Vrabel's name popping up. And I don't know if it's going to be.
He's going to be a hot candidate. I think he's going to end up with the Raiders, but a lot of people are going to want him.
It's either going to be the Chicago Bears or the Ohio State Buckeyes. And if Ohio State loses to Tennessee, Ryan Day could be out of there.
So you're calling it. You say Vrabel to Ohio State and or to the Chicago Bears. God, that's the right. Bears, that was like, it's not getting any better without Eberflus right now on the way out. All right, so we only got about a minute left here. The Buffalo Bills, their offense is just like, this is next level type of stuff. If you look at the numbers, it's very similar to like the fastest show on turf, the Ram type of numbers. They're putting, historic type of numbers. If not now, when for the Buffalo Bills? You got Mahomes is beat up right now.
Yes.
Baltimore, a dangerous football team. I get it. There's good teams in the AFC, but if the Bills can't pull this off this year and at least get to the Super Bowl, I don't know when they can, and I think they will. So I'll say the Bills in the Super Bowl, but who do you think they would play if the Bills made the Super Bowl? Who's your pick coming out of the NFC? Are you buying into the Eagles stuff?
I wish we could just play it tomorrow. Bills and Eagles, buckle up. Let's go. Those are the two hottest teams in the National Football League, the two best teams in their conference. Is there really any question? Detroit's got the injuries. See ya. Sayonara. Goodbye.
No love for Sam Darnold and the Vikings, huh?
I'm not a believer, Gabe.
It's amazing, too, because they keep winning games. They could potentially have the 1 seed, and I get it.
Yeah,
it's hard.
They beat the Bears.
Well, they've only lost 2 games this year, Rick. All right, there's Rick Saratello. We're out of time. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today. Yeah. And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas? I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set, to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Thanks to Rick Hot Take Saratella with us. And, a couple of, Rick joins us every week, but he usually has a couple of takes that nobody else has out there. And every once in a while, he's bang on. He's great with the draft stuff, founder of the NFL Draft Bible, but his call, Mike Vrabel, Chicago Bears, I don't see it. Vrabel's name is going to be connected everywhere right now because he's one of the best head coaches that's available. And he wants to coach. Are they going to throw Ryan Day under the bus? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't think Vrabel wants the Ohio State job. Personally, I don't think it's his big desire to coach Ohio State. I think he wants back in the National Football League. He's going to get his opportunities. I personally, my take for Vrabel is he'll be the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Don't forget, Tom Brady is now a minority owner, but Brady is going to be a very vocal owner in the room. Mark Davis has tried it his way. It hasn't worked. So that's one of the, Brady's in the room now, and Brady's going to have a say on things. And don't forget, Tom Brady and Mike Vrabel, teammates on the New England Patriots. Super Bowl, I think Vrabel was there for 2-3 of them type of deal, at least two of them, 2 or 3 of them. All right, so 35-23 Memphis right now. West Virginia are punching back. As I stated before we brought Rick on, I thought that West Virginia's offense was starting to dial things up and getting into a rhythm. They keep on scoring right now. They scored 17 in the second. They just scored on their first drive of the third quarter. Memphis easily went down the field on their first drive of the third quarter. West Virginia screwed up the extra point, though. So there's been 13 points in the second half. We jumped in on the in-game over 75.5. We're already on a bunch of overs. In-game totally is currently 79.5. Loud Esmond in the house with us. It's Bowl Mania. What's going on, Loud?
How you doing? Well, I'm going to be your Major Arena Soccer League correspondent for the season, so I'm going to have a little bit to talk about that. There's a good betting opportunity here in the futures, which is, the Chihuahua Savage are the runaway favorite to win the whole thing. They're at plus 103. And there's some other teams that can make some noise. Kansas City Comics, Utica FC, Milwaukee Wave. They're all possibilities, maybe. But the team I think is getting overlooked in the odds is the San Diego Sockers. They're the only team with their own dedicated soccer stadium, indoor soccer stadium in the league. They're very financially successful. You got to kind of think of them as the New England Patriots when it was Belichick and the Brady years. And they seem to win every couple years, and they're always around the playoffs. They're a plus almost 1,500 right now to win the whole thing. And that's worth taking a flyer on. They are not healthy right now. They're missing several very important players. And if they get healthy and start to get on a roll towards the end of the season and roll into the playoffs, they're going to be serious to deal with. And that's a really juicy price on that. You can catch these games on Galazzo TV on the CBS Sports Network. I'll just give you one quick other take. Thursday night, nationally broadcast game. The Tacoma Stars are at the Empire Strikers. This is going to air at 6:35 p.m. Pacific. Tacoma on the money line, minus 155 is still the play here. I think the Strikers are work in progress. And until I see them string together some wins, even though they're my team and I'm a fan and that's the area I'm from originally, I'm not going to be able to back them there. By the way, the odds on these games, MASL courtesy of Alt Sports Data, and you can bet on the MSL at NextBet, NXBTS, nextbets.com. And they are working on several other places where you're going to be able to place action. Okay, you wanted to talk college bowl games?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's Bowl Mania this week, and Memphis are moving the football. Memphis are moving the football right now. We got a 3rd and 2 coming up. Although the clock is ticking away here in this third quarter, and listen, West Virginia once again are just a touchdown away from covering a number. They're lingering. I mean, give this offense credit. And now their defense is coming on. They just forced a stop on 3rd down. West Virginia are really fired up right now. So we got ourselves a football game here. Although I'm on Memphis. I don't want this West Virginia comeback. But you see the momentum is starting to change in this football game. And it's a fun game. There's a lot of smack talk going on the field here. And now West Virginia are the ones talking smack back to Memphis after Memphis have been sticking in their face all night long. So did you bet this game loud? Who you on here? Cam's got West Virginia. I've got Memphis. So we're on different sides.
Yeah, I had the over was the play that I liked in this game. Neither one of these teams plays a lot of defense. So I thought both teams would be able to move the ball. And so far that's turning out to be correct. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we're one score away from getting there. We're at 58 right now. So one more score gets us there. There's a little under 5 minutes remaining. West Virginia get the ball back, but they're pinned deep right near their own goal line. All right, so like I said, we got two games tomorrow on the card, and there's been a lot of line movement in the Western Kentucky James Madison game. This game's been bouncing around all week. So, a lot of these bowl games, guys, very, very challenging, right? You've got to do a lot of research and be on top of things, and things change in a hurry. Like a good example is UNLV lost their offensive coordinator tonight, right? They already lost their head coach, and now their coordinator just took the Sacramento State job tonight, and he's gone, and they're playing a football game tomorrow. There's a lot of unique situations like that that teams are getting put in. Western Kentucky's another one where there's all the talk about Western Kentucky and their quarterbacks transferring and everybody's leaving. It's true, but the kids are actually seeing it through. They're transferring after the game, which I respect, right? That's the way it should be handled. Like you tell the team, listen, I'm playing in this game, but I'm leaving after. I won't be here next year for you, but let's finish off this season with a bang. That's the way to go. So we got Western Kentucky actually going to have their players tomorrow, even though a lot of people are leaving. James Madison's quarterback left. You got a kid starting tomorrow that has one career pass attempt for James Madison. They're 7.5-point favorites. Total's 51. Cal, their star quarterback Mendoza left. Their star wide receiver went with him. UNLV's coach left for Purdue. Their offensive coordinator just left for Sacramento State. And UNLV are still 3-point favorites tomorrow. The total is 48 in the LA Bowl tomorrow night at SoFi. Any action for you tomorrow loud on either of these bowl games?
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. I bet on JMU's culinary program. If you ever get a chance, go to their cafeteria on their campus. Fantastic. They have one of the best cafeteria programs in the country. It's a 3-story building.
That's
It's
awesome,
amazing.
Cafeteria programs.
I don't know if that helps the bettors
Better than Golden
tuning
Corral.
in, but it's
Yeah.
nice to know. Nice to know if you're looking for a meal in the area. This game is a
it's one
tricky
of the best
one.
places in the area. It's
But
where
this
the police department took me when I was out visiting them. So, got to be the best place to eat. The cops always know.
So, no opinion on the game then?
No, but I do have one strong take on a couple of them. Indiana going to South Bend this Friday. Going to be cold, snow on the ground. I know they don't have to go out of state. They'll be used to the cold too. Everybody was complaining about Notre Dame's strength of schedule all season. Well, Indiana's was worse. They have a 67 strength of schedule. Notre Dame was 57. They took on, I think, one ranked team, which was Ohio State, and they got crushed. I think this is going to be similar to the Ohio State game. Indiana's going to hang early. They may even take a lead in the first half, but then Notre Dame's defensive line and offensive line are going to wear them down over time, and it'll be very similar to the Ohio State game. Touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame covers the 7 points.
I do agree. I do
Ohio
like
State,
Notre Dame.
Tennessee, yeah. Ohio State, Tennessee, I can
Hold
talk
on,
about
we're
on the
coming
other
up
side.
to a break. Loud, we're coming up to a break here in a second. We could hit this after, but I do agree with the Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame will wear them out. Indiana are good, and Cignati's a really good coach. So that's the scary thing, that Cignati's going to come up with a couple of tricks here and a couple of things that Notre Dame haven't seen. But Notre Dame's talent will be too much.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks, 35-23. Big play by West Virginia. They had them pinned back deep. There was penalties. They're on their own 5-yard line. And the quarterback for West Virginia scrambled, dove through the air, barely picked up the first down. Then the next play, they had a big run. And like I said, his momentum is starting to switch here as far as the body language, as they're showing a live shot of the Memphis Band right now, who look like They're not very happy. They're all just sitting there. Nobody's playing anything. Meanwhile, West Virginia's players are talking smack on the field. They're flying around on and off the field. Everybody's fired up, especially after that run there. So they're in this game, 35-23 right now. The point spread is sitting at 9.5 currently. All right, so we'll get to the Tennessee game in a second. Cam, what's your pick for Western Kentucky and James Madison tomorrow? First game up at 5:30 Eastern.
I was wishing you'd have more of an opinion on it, Gabe. That line has fluctuated, and it just seems to me that, like, a lot of people think just JMU is going to roll these guys, but I don't know. Like, I'm kind of looking at Western Kentucky, trying to make a case for the dog, as I always do, but maybe this game, I know Bovey came on earlier with us, and he liked the over. Is it an attainable over? I know you played more totals. I was on the over this Memphis-West Virginia game like you, because as we talked about, neither of these teams have a defense, but what do you think about the total of this game? I want your opinion, because I'm looking at the dog right now.
I think West Virginia can hang around because Veltkamp is going to play. Their quarterback is playing in this game. James Madison is starting. Their like I said, James Madison's quarterback has one career pass attempt. Their quarterback bailed. He's not playing in this game, so it's gonna hurt them. You know what I mean? They're not. Some of these programs have stud backups that are just going to come in. I think James Madison could be a little bit up against it to move the ball. The under is becoming a trendy pick in this game tomorrow. But me personally, I'd lean Western Kentucky. This is one of those ultimate degenerate bowl games. You flip a coin and you hope for the best. So I do lean Western Kentucky because listen, you got a quarterback that's never played before. And there's a perception amongst people that everybody left. You hear this a lot. Oh, Western Kentucky, the quarterback's leaving and everyone's leaving. Yeah, they are, but they're still playing in the football game tomorrow. Yep. So I think this, but the thing is, they're not a good team, right? They got absolutely lit up by Jacksonville State last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, in the conference championship game. Like, what was the final score? Like 62-13 or something stupid. Like, they got really, really murdered. So it's not like they're a good football team, but I do lean with the dog there. And then tomorrow night, California and UNLV. This one, I'm going with the UNLV Running Rebels. They've faced adversity all year, this team. They lost their quarterback. The new kid stepped in and was even better. All right, their coach leaves, fine. They can deal with it. I'm almost like, dear God, now you lose your offensive coordinator as well the night before the game. So now the OC bolts, but everybody on UNLV is playing except their star wide receiver, Ricky White, who really wasn't getting the ball as much lately. So I think he figures, whatever, they're fine. I'm going to the NFL. I don't want to get hurt here. I get it. But anyone that watched UNLV and Boise State play in the conference championship game saw that, this kid Williams is throwing it around. He's slinging it around the park to everybody. Cal lost their quarterback. They lost their star wide receiver. Cal's defense is good, but I think UNLV are going to get it done in that game. And the Tennessee game, Loud, I like the Vols in this game. I think Tennessee can replicate everything that Michigan has done against Ohio State. And even if Ohio State wins the game, I don't think they have the offensive firepower against this defense to pull away from them. I could see Ohio State winning and surviving 27-23 or something like that, but I don't think that they can smoke the Tennessee Volunteers. What's your pick for that one?
I'm with you on all those points, but I think it's important to also point out that Ohio State has real problems on the offensive line. They've got a number of injuries, and that makes them very vulnerable to the Volunteers' defensive line, which is very strong. The Volunteers can stop the run and also are pretty good against the pass because of their pass rush. I want to go with the outright win by Tennessee, but at least with the points. I think the strength of both these teams is actually their defenses, and I like this number to go under the 44.5.
I like the, I don't think it's going to be a track meet, but what's the updated number right now? It's not that low right now. It's 47. Tennessee. Yeah. Tennessee and Ohio State 47. I think it'll be right around that number. I can't play the under, Cam, because it's too late. Yeah. Right? I mean, in a college football game, there's too much speed on the field. And even, look, 24-23 is a push. And I don't think this game's going to be 17-16. Like I said, I threw out 27-23, maybe 30-27 type of deal. There could be, a turnover here, a turnover there, but all the pressure in the world is on Ohio State. Tennessee are playing with house money in this game. Whatever happens to them happens. They're happy they made the playoffs.
Couldn't agree more. And Ohio State's offense, too, even when you watch them throughout the year, they they come out a little bit cold, and they're just one of those teams. It's like Michigan, they're 20-point dogs winning outright. And that's the thing, Loud. You Loud are right. Tennessee has a lot of athletes on the defensive line. Ohio State, they're very, Howard, he can make mistakes in that game, too. You're right, Gabe. Total might be right around the number, but I think the dog is the play in this game. It's Tennessee or nothing for me. I'm not laying points with Ohio State and the way their offense can stall. No way.
A big key into this game is Chip Kelly, who's the offensive coordinator of Ohio State, and he was extremely stubborn against Michigan and trying to run the football. And as Loud stated, Ohio State, they're beat up on the offensive line, so their O-line is not as stout as it normally is, and just like a battering ram that it normally is. And they wanted to prove, we could win in the trenches. And they did it. Michigan beat them in the trenches and shut down their ground game and forced Will Howard to beat them, which became a problem. And I'll tell you what, Tennessee are going to be able to do the same damn thing. So it's up to Chip Kelly to mix this thing up, and Will Howard's going to have to beat them. It's going to be on Will Howard because they're not going to be able to just run the rock down Tennessee's throat. So they're going to have to throw the football. And I don't know if they were going to be able to, it's on Will Howard here. I like the balls. Me too.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Uncle Stevie can just walk up the aisle like he's at the supermarket. I'll get a starting pitcher here, I'll get a closer here, I'll get a first baseman here, and he'll just keep throwing things in the cart because there is no limit.
Now he's gone, so they got to go get arms to make that team better. Because the bottom line was they were just outclassed by the Dodgers. Let's face it, they got their ass beat.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a challenge. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And into the fourth quarter we go, four horsemen style. And the first play of the fourth quarter is a bomb, and it's caught by West Virginia. I'm telling you, West Virginia have the momentum right now. They're fired up. They're playing in an extreme hurry-up. Memphis, this is why Memphis lost 2 games this year, right? They gave up like 55 to Navy one time. They lost like 55-46 or something. And they lost the track meet to UTSA. All right, it's if you're going to play a track meet, you're not going to win every week. And well, like I said, West Virginia are fired up right now, and they're about to be in covering the point spread range right here. But we're up against it as far as the clock is concerned. Loud NFL football. Anything catch your eye this weekend in the NFL? And we got to be quick. We only have a minute or two left here.
All right, Saturday night, Ravens at the Steelers. Love the Steelers plus 6.5, and then under the 44. These games are almost always rock fights, and the Steelers give the Ravens fits. They've beat them 5 out of 6 times. Tampa Bay, man, talk about an early line miss. Tampa Bay was +4 when it opened against the Cowboys. Now it's Tampa Bay -4. I still like it, but I'm probably going to chicken out and bet a money line. And by the way, weird thing I saw about hockey today, a couple of the worst teams in the league are the Ducks and the Sharks. The Ducks and the Sharks are number 1 and number 2 against the spread on the season.
No, the Ducks aren't the worst. The Ducks are like a 500 caliber team. Speaking of the
among not great.
Yeah, no, but they're plus money. Like you said, we've talked about the Ducks this year. They're like a 500 team. They're underdogs all the time. And the Sharks, the Sharks are just huge underdogs all the time. So if they win, it really helps their units. For the record, the Sharks are losing 2-1 right now to the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets, the Sharks are going on a power play, though. Jets just committed a penalty. All right, speaking of penalties, West Virginia just went backwards. Right? Yeah, I didn't touch this game. Cam's on the Sharks plus 1.5.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. There's 3 minutes left in that game. And I'm on the Ottawa Senators are up 2-0 on the Kraken right now. Holy, now there's a penalty on Memphis. Man, it's a flag fest, and they're letting them off the hook. This is getting tight right now. West Virginia are getting close to lingering. All right, hey, Lau, where can people find you online?
Hitthepick.com, hitthepick.com.
Hitthepick.com, great name for a betting website. Thanks, Loud. There's a Loud Esmond with us. West Virginia knocking on the door, but I wanted to get to my thoughts on the NBA All-Star Game format. The verdict is in. All right, so the NBA All-Star format. Listen, All-Star games generally kind of suck in the modern era because the professional athlete really only cares about money, doesn't care about history, nostalgia. You know, look at the example of NBA stars not wanting to participate in a slam dunk contest. How many big-time major stars in the NBA have not ever done it before? When you look back in the history of Dominic Wilkins, Dr. J, Vince Carter, Michael freaking Jordan, did it. But the modern player is too good for it, and they wonder why NBA ratings are down. Well, because we have freaking G League players winning your NBA slam dunk contest. That's why. If you're not going to care, why will anybody else care? So they're getting desperate right now to try to get people interested in the sham that has become the NBA All-Star game, which I've always loved in the past. East-West isn't good enough anymore. So, you know, my idea is go USA versus the world. There'll actually be a little bit of an edge to it. The world guys will want to beat the Americans. The Americans will want to defend. It'll have more of an international sort of intense feel to it. Instead, they've come up basically with the NHL format, which sucks, which they're basically just going to randomly pick the All-Stars. Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley will choose the player. So in other words, it's just one big comedy fest. Ha, 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 like you think these guys give a crap. Who's on what team? There's going to be like, I don't know, a bunch of little games and 40, first to 40, and the rookie sophomore team is going to have a team, and there's a 4-team tournament and blah, blah, blah. And the verdict is in, and Kevin Durant is on the jury, and I'm the judge, and I agree with Durant. It's stupid. And if Kevin Durant thinks it's stupid, then it's stupid. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.
sharpest football.
Uncle